Why, hello. Hello, welcome. How are you doing this morning? Cool, excellent. Hope you're doing good. Hope everything is rocking and rolling. Oh, yes. Put that down. Join in on my mat. Look at this beautiful sunshiny day we have here. How's it going? Good morning, guys. Welcome to some Yoga with Janelle, or Thursdays. I'm doing once a week, maybe even twice a week, a little bit of a shorter class for those who don't quite have an hour to fit in a whole yoga class. So it gives a little bit of variety, a little bit of option. So aiming for around half an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere in there to make it work so that you guys can make sure that you can get some movement in and reach those goals and go from there. So Thursday is our Happy Hips Day. So we'll do a hip focus class. Just a nice, gentle wake up routine of, hey, let's get going. Hey, let's do our things. Is this Doreen? Oh my gosh, you're the best. I only lost one ball golfing last night. Great improvement, thanks. Oh my god, that is really good. Was it 9 hole or 18 hole though? Because, that will affect those odds. I think I usually lose a ball too, but I just do pitch and putt. I do not have any golfing skills. But it's really fun. That's actually something I really enjoy. So great job on that. So today, let's stretch things out. Let's move a little. Let's feel really good. So find yourself in a nice position where you can start to feel connected in with your body. So really, whatever that is, let's say 9. Just say 9. Oh yeah, that's still pretty good. One ball, it's still pretty good. So get into a position. Even if you are seated, I don't know if you guys have a big book, a block. I don't know if there's a giant Lego block shaped like this, although I feel like that would be painful. I just find them super helpful, especially if you don't want to start laying down, but sitting down on the ground isn't the most accessible thing, or even if it is, like I can sit on the ground just fine. However, when I sit on a block, something a little magical happens. So now my hips, my pelvis is raised, even just slightly either above my knees or more in line with my knees. Mine's just slightly above, and that is creating so much openness in my low back. And now my legs actually have room to open up and spin out. So if you sit on a block, you might even be able to notice that you can go a little deeper in how you're seating. And so if you kind of need to sit a little bit like this and your knees are really high, try sitting on a block and you might be able to adjust it, deepen it. It's cool. I highly recommend it. And yeah, it does a lot of stuff, a lot of feedback into the sit bones to sit nice and tall. However, if you like to start laying down, please start laying down. I think that is blissful and beautiful. No issues starting your practice laying down. Actually, when I teach in a studio, that's usually how everyone starts, is laying down. So, however you find yourself this morning, let it be good. That is my only requirement. Let the pose be good. This is not where we start working yet. This is where we start to notice how we're feeling and how we're doing. And so take that moment, maybe you close your eyes, and start to journey inward. Now that journey inward is not our end goal, is not our focus. But it's a great tool for us to be able to help with our posture and our alignment, and to find the depth of the pose that is good for us. Whether that be nice and gentle, working with any injuries, or if you're trying to push into lengthening or strengthening or stabilizing, I guess that's the other option. You've got to be aware of your body. You can't just do the movement and expect to reach certain goals or have those results. So that's why I always start with closing the eyes, taking a nice big breath in, breathe it in, Let it go. And then roll those shoulders back and down if you haven't done so already. Just fix your posture, really. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And then take another breath and see how you can actually breathe in so much more once you actually make room through the collarbone, that lifting of the heart. Big breath in. Nice big exhale. So good. How's that low back doing? If you did today's or yesterday's class, we did a decent amount of engaging through the low back. And how are the arms, the legs? How's the core? How's the neck, the feet? And maybe even start to notice, how are you? And what's your attitude like this morning? Are you excited? Are you tired? Are you dreading this and you're just checking it off the fitness list? Or is it something more than that? And just check in with how you're doing today. And try to do so without judgment. If you woke up crabby, if you haven't had your coffee yet, you are absolutely allowed to be in a bad mood. But can you be aware of your bad mood? That is step one. Or if you're filled with joy, you know, little bubbles this morning, that is not a bad thing either. You're more than welcome to have a good day, especially during quarantine, especially during changes happening. Don't be afraid to be okay. That is definitely an option. I find that with every advertisement I see on TV, it's during this stressful time and during these hard times. I was like, stop telling me it's stressful and hard. I'm just like, I know it is, but I don't need you telling me to be like that. I can choose to be not stressed. Anyways, that's my rant about ads today. Let's connect in with that breath. Let's just take 3 big rounds of breath. Nice big inhales. Start to engage through that diaphragm, breathing into that abdomen. So let's breathe it in. Nice and big. Release. Try to fill the belly. Feel that rib cage expand. And exhale. Nice and slow. Let it out. And take another big breath in. Notice the lift that happens. And exhale. Maybe even sigh it out. Feel how everything settles back in. Last one, nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Beautiful. If you'd like to set an intention for your time today, then go ahead and do so. It brings you to your mat. What is your purpose for the next little bit of time that we have together? How can it be so good? Taking a little moment, maybe repeating it once or twice, really letting that intent settle in. I like to seal it in with one more big breath. So breathing in through the nose this time. Breathe it in and let it out. And start to wake up the body. A little wiggle into fingers, into toes. Maybe start to roll wrists and ankles. Take that bit of movement to do what you need to wake up the body. Maybe you notice those shadows areas. Got tight shoulders today, and actually a tight low back. Beautiful. Excellent. And then if you are seated, let's journey on down onto our backs, rolling back and down. So I'm gonna remove my prop first, but I'm gonna leave it nice and close here. And coming on down to the floor. Still that tuck of the chin and still rolling the shoulders back and down. I like to start with my knees bent. So you're welcome to have them bent or extended, whatever works best. Take a nice big inhale, breath and lengthen. Exhale, feel that slight engagement through the body. Pull that belly button ever so gently in towards the spine. Just feel that little tuck of the pelvis. And that happens there, and that gentle pressing in of the low back towards the floor, especially if your legs are extended long. And just be mindful of how the hips are sitting, how that pelvis is sitting. You can really overarch through that low back just simply because you're tilting your pelvis forward. So if you make everything nice and flat, find that engagement and then extend the legs long. That's kind of a beautiful thing. All right, take that inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Reach up nice and tall. Take that nice good morning stretch. Really reach it. Feel all of that openness, not only through the arms. See if you can get all the way into the armpits and into the rib cage. really lengthening as much as you possibly can. Let it feel good. And exhale, just drop the arms down. Getting ready, let's take another big inhale breath. Start to reach it out nice and tall. Start to create a little tension. Maybe make little fists with your hands. Maybe you squeeze through the shoulder blades, squeeze through the glutes and the legs. Maybe even curl the toes. Starting to just squeeze everything together, making all of that tension. Holding for just a moment, and then on the exhale, we'll let it all go. So getting ready and let it go. Soften, melt into your mat. Feel that huge release. Oh, so good. I love adding that little bit of tension in. That feels really cool. All right, last one. Big inhale. Reach it up overhead. Just stretching things out again. And exhale. Let it go. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Take that gentle rock from side to side. Feel that little massage across the back, maybe across the hips. Try not to overarch through the head here. It's really common to bring that gaze back behind you. And try to keep it neutral. Even if your eyes are closed, just imagine being up towards the ceiling. Nice little tick-tock back and forth. Like that little pendulum swinging. Or that Newton's cradle. Beautiful. Let's hold on to right leg. Send left leg. Either nice and long, most gentle, just plant the foot down in towards the mat and hug that right knee in. Maybe you need to start there, and as things open up, you can work on lengthening and extending that left leg farther and farther. So just finding where you need to start off today, and see if you can relax the shoulders. Can you hug that knee in, kind of just with a bit of engagement through the arms, but you're not hunching the shoulders up. They're nice and relaxed. You can feel the shoulder blades just resting into the ground, and then bring that attention to that right leg. Maybe give it a little rock back and forth. Bring a little movement in. I'm going to transition the back and forth into some circles. Just starting to feel that femur connect into that hip socket. So bring a bit of motion in there. Your circles can be little, they can be nice and big, anywhere in between. Just bringing that awareness into your body and moving a little bit mindfully. So there's really no goal here other than this movement is helping lubricate into that joint, into that hip socket. I'm trying to also keep my left side grounded down. So if you're doing the really big circles, at some point when you come out, you're going to start to roll onto that right hip. Keep pressing that left side in if you're going for those big ones. You won't really notice it as much for those little ones. Beautiful. Let's go the other direction, making sure we're getting both sides in. Nice big rotations all the way around. Excellent. Taking a few more, just gotta keep it even. One side to the next. And then simply come to some stillness. Hug that knee in. It can be over the ribs. It can be nice and open. Wherever you find that sweet spot. Maybe you find a little tension in your glute that you need to release. Maybe you have one spot that has more openness that feels really good. You'll feel it. When you get there, you'll feel like, oh yeah, look at that. Then take a big inhale, breathe into the belly. Even though the leg is pressing in against it, see if you can still take that big breath in. And use that exhale, soften. See if you can release that tension in the right hip. Odds are those hip flexors are kind of grabbing on a little bit. See if you can just imagine them melting in. Feeling so good. Might take a couple of breaths to really get that full release. And then if you do start to create or get that release, odds are you'll have just a little bit more room to pull that knee ever so slightly closer in. So just maybe play around with that. See if you can soften and then deepen. Soften and deepen. Even if it's not like a visible pulling in of the knee, no one's watching. Or at least I'm not watching. And it doesn't matter. It can just be something so minor that you just feel within your own body, that letting go and that deepening. Beautiful. We'll take another breath or two here just to really get into some of those big muscles, maybe that big tension that happens. Finding that softness and that stillness. So good. One more. Nice big inhale. Nice slow exhale. Start to relax and release the hip, having it come to a little bit more neutral position, so knee a little bit more over that hip. Hold on now with the left hand, so left hand goes across the body, holding on to the knee, and right arm extends long like that half T. We're just reaching out towards the right. Start to roll onto that left hip. Coming into just a nice spinal twist. Maybe that right foot touches down. The knee can start to work down towards the ground if that feels good for the twist. Or a nice variation here is actually planting the foot and letting the knee push backwards. That'll start to get into the IT band. So I've got two options for you there. Whatever feels best. If you want more of the twist, the knee falls in. If you want to work that IT band, knee presses out. You can even work your IT band having the knee fall in, putting your hand and adding that resistance, but that's a pretty active stretch. But your choice, those are your three options. Take an inhale and lengthen, see if you can get just a little bit taller. Take that exhale and soften, see if you can just really let go. Just enjoying the twist for what it is, maybe feeling that through the glutes, maybe ever so slightly into the low back, into the leg. So good. I'm going to release the bind I have on my knee and bring my leg all the way back up. And leg with my arms along my side, I'm going to extend my foot up towards the ceiling. And coming into this little half waterfall, just really extending nice and long, getting that nice little hamstring stretch, and using that hip flexor and a little bit of the core to keep the leg up. So just really flex the toes and extend long through the heel. You can still have a gentle bend through the knee. The knees are there to break up the leg and to protect all of those muscles in there. So if they're really tight, you'll have a bend to it, or you can work on extending nice and long and tall if those hip or if those hamstrings allow. Excellent. And nice and slow, let's lower the right leg all the way down. Maybe as you lower it, you notice the length. Maybe that right foot is extending a little bit longer than the left. Just being aware of the difference from one side to the next. And then let's start to bring that left knee in towards the body. If you need to adjust that right foot by planting it in towards the mat, go ahead and do so. Start to bring that left knee in. Starting to feel that low back starting to press in and connect. You can start nice and slow with that little side to side motion. Keeping the leg nice and relaxed. Maybe the arms do the work. And then you can do little circles. So transitioning it from the side to side to more of those, I was going to say donut motions, but that, you get it. Circles. Just looking for another word other than circles, because sometimes I feel like that's the only word I use here. And I feel like I'm more creative than that. Maybe your circles are getting bigger. Trying to keep that hip still nice and relaxed. So you're just moving the bone, the leg around. Not getting too wild and crazy. I'm trying to keep now that right side really glued down, not rolling onto that left hip. Just working with that range of motion of that leg. Let's stop and go in the other direction. Beautiful. What a great way to work this area. All right, let's find your stillness. Hug that knee back in. Find that sweet spot. Knee can be really hugging in over the ribs, can pull in towards the underarm. You can even open up to the side if that's where your sweet spot's at today. Feel free to embrace it. Take a nice big inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, soften. Try to work on releasing the little squeeze, that little tension that's probably happening in that hip flexor, the top part of the leg, or right in that crease. Be mindful of that. And as you start to maybe feel that release, Feel free to deepen, pulling and adjusting the leg in, or if you're not feeling that release, that's okay too. Lots of people hold an insane amount of tension in our hips, and sometimes it can be stubborn. It doesn't release right away. That's why I like to hold this for a little bit longer, to try to let that stuff go, and B, doing something like this regularly has tons of those great benefits for the body. Keep using that breath as a nice tool. That exhale is really powerful when it comes to the letting go, to the softening. And so even if you use that audible exhale, like the ah sound, maybe like the ooh sound, using that to just soften, tells your brain that it's okay. Starts that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest, where cortisol is not produced. That's the stress hormone. All from an audible exhale. So cool. Taking just a few more breaths here. Maybe you're feeling that into the glute. Maybe even into the low back, depending on where you're holding your tension. Try to keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. So good. All right, last inhale, breathe it in. Still trying to feel that breath going into the abdomen. And exhale, let it out nice and slow. And holding on to that left leg with the right hand. Left arm reaches out in line with that shoulder and start to roll onto that right hip, adding that nice twist. And see how my shoulders stay planted in the ground. As I roll things over, maybe plant that foot down, maybe the knee journeys down, maybe go for that IT band stretch, pushing the knee back. Whatever feels best. If that shoulder is really tight, you don't have to keep it all the way up. So if you're noticing that hand starting to lift off, just simply bring the hand closer in towards the body. That's an easy way to make this a little more gentle. If you want to be rolled right over onto that right hip. So it's okay if the shoulder does lift. You just have to be mindful of the angle in that shoulder that's happening. So we don't want to over-rotate or tear anything in there. So just bringing that hand a little closer is a great alternative to keeping that hand placement. So there's no expectation that the hand stays super high up. It can start to trickle on in. Really good. Right leg is still extended long. You can have a gentle bend into that knee. It's kind of a natural thing that happens as you twist over onto the side. And we'll finish off here taking that last breath. So big inhale, nice big exhale. Returning that gaze back to neutral, releasing the knee, and starting to roll back onto your spine. Knee comes in, and extend that foot up towards the ceiling. Flexing through the foot, bringing the toes in towards the body as much as you can. Extend through that heel. Take a big inhale, breath lengthen through the spine. Exhale, engage that core a little bit, finding that nice stability. Extending that leg long and strong. So good. Excellent. Ooh, low power mode. Beautiful. Excellent. And nice and slow, let's start to lower that leg down. Bring it all the way down. Nice extension. Maybe that foot now is a little bit longer. Finding that balance. You can give the hips a little wiggle to bring them back to neutral. Excellent. Let's bring both knees in towards the chest. Give them a nice big hugs and squeeze. And either roll onto your side to come up to seated, or take that beloved rock and roll up. So if you want to give that spinal massage, you're coming up and rolling down. I like just a few of these. I don't know why. Maybe because it's fun. Like, when else do you get to do this? It embraces my inner child. So thanks for letting me be fun like that. I just looked at my phone to try to see the time, and I forgot what time it was. That's what just happened. Excellent. So kneading back in that seated position. Sit nice and tall, lengthen through the crown of the head. Roll those shoulders back and down. Take that nice big inhale breath. Exhale, let it go. And let's start to wake up those shoulders and those arms. So inhales to reach it up. Exhales, hands to heart. Just gonna do a few of these. Just waking up through the spine, waking up through the arms. Reach it up. Pulling it down. Excellent. Feeling that nice little warmth, maybe through the spine or through the arms. Last one, reach it up, nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Then start to bow it forward, coming into a nice little forward fold. So maybe you just hang out at a little bow. Even if you just rest the elbows on the knees, that feels really good. My back is still nice and straight here. My shoulders are still rolled back and down and finding that length. If you want, you can drop the hands down. Maybe walk the hands a little bit farther. And you can still tuck the chin with keeping that nice flat back. If it feels really good to round through the shoulders, of course, you're more than welcome to, but I'm trying to find that length through the body here. And if you're hanging out here, try to inch those fingers just a little bit more. Make sure that chin is tucked and create that little pull sensation. And so not actively moving the body, but just changing that sensation through the arms and feeling that little stretch through the shoulders, more along the sides of the body and the back of the body. That is a nice little stretch to add into this nice forward fold. Connecting in with that breath. So good. Let's press it back up to seated. Then switch the feet, opposite foot in front or on top. Finding those sits bones. Inhale, lengthen. Fix that posture. Pull those low ribs in. That gentle engagement of the core. Relax those shoulders back and down. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take two more of these. Reaching it up. So nice. Exhale, bring it down. Always the option to add the little back bend as you gaze and look up. Exhale, hands to heart. Press into the hands here. Starting to activate through those arms. Notice, are the elbows droopy? Can you bring the elbows in line with the wrist? Roll those shoulders back and down. Little squeeze through the shoulders. Relax through the arms and take that little bow down. Just simply a forward fold here. Nothing too complex, but sometimes it's the simple movements that still work the hardest and give us the most release. So maybe you're noticing this on whatever foot is in front or on top. You can reach those hands down. Maybe you walk them out. Maybe you're keeping that nice flat back. A little tuck of the chin. Use that exhale to soften. Maybe use that inhale to lengthen. And if you want a little variety, so last time you created that little pull sensation through the arms. In this variation, let's create that little push sensation. So just feeling that little stretch. Now you'll feel it more along the spine. I'm still into the shoulders. Just a gentle little push. If you want, you can go back and forth between a little pull and a gentle little push. Feels just activating some different muscles. Giving them that little stretch. Taking two more rounds of breath here. Big inhale. Nice full exhale. One more. Breathe it in. And letting it go. Starting to come back up to seated. Oh, so good. Let's make our way into all fours. So bring in those knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Just a quick little cat-cow breath. So inhale, look it up, drop the belly down. Feel that big sag, that arch in the spine. Tuck the chin, round that spine up. Pressing into those hands. Let it feel really good. And then just come right into neutral. Untuck the toes and make sure the shoelace sides of your feet is down, fingers are nice and wide. Still lots of length through the spine though. Take a quick exhale breath, pull that belly button in, and extend the right foot nice and long, touching the toes down onto the mat, rolling that right hip down. Beautiful. Let's float that leg up. Feel that nice and controlled. You're trying to roll that hip down to stabilize and to lengthen, keeping everything really in line there. And let's add a bend to that knee. So foot goes up towards the ceiling. Then bring knee towards right wrist or towards elbow or forearm. Kick it back up. Squeeze the glute as you kick it up and bring elbow to knee. We'll take a couple of these little pulses. So I'm adding that little squeeze and activating through the glute and trying not to sag through my low back. So it's really common if you've got weak muscles to drop the belly down as you try to lift the foot up. So keep that nice engagement and just protecting those muscles. So this is just swinging the leg up and down. Making a few of these. Excellent. Working through that. All right, let's come on back up and hold. And then let's open up through the hip. So let that knee float open. Foot kind of comes down a little bit. Feeling that huge squeeze. And let's take a couple of pulses trying to bring that knee up towards the shoulder. Kicking it out. Just take a few of these. Let's take 2 more. Total of 5. Nice little spider, little crunches. Great movement on the hip. Bring that knee back down. Gentle sway from side to side. Beautiful. You can shake out the wrists if that feels better. Find your stillness. Engage through that core, pressing into those hands. Left toes go back, touch on down, roll that left hip down. Take that exhale breath, engage through the core, and float the leg up. Still trying to keep that hip nice and level. Bring a bend to the foot. Low back is nice and engaged. Belly button is nicely tucked in. And bring knee towards left wrist. So trying not to engage through the spine here, letting this just be the leg moving up and down. Back and forth, squeezing into that glute, staying nice and strong. Got to work on those peaches. Excellent. Taking just a few more. Getting comfortable with that movement, being mindful of that core. Nicely stabilizing. A strong core is really important, really for the rest of your body and stabilizing, but also for your back muscles. So if you've got a tight low back, it might be because you have a weak core or even weak glutes. So here you go, working both of them. Let's come on up and hold, nice and strong. Let's open up that left knee, kind of lowering the foot down, and take our 5 crunches towards our shoulder. Still pressing in towards the hands, squeezing through those obliques, trying to get that range of motion through that hip. Kicking it out, come on back. Excellent, last one here, and back. Bring that knee down, take a beautiful sway, side to side. Excellent. So good. Find your stillness, and then walk your hands forward and lower all the way down onto your mat, coming onto the front body. Excellent. Bring those hands underneath the shoulders. Elbows are tucking in towards the ribs. You start to feel that pelvis pressing down in towards the mat, so stabilizing through there. If that low back is really tight, try bringing the legs just a little bit closer or farther apart. That might help relieve some of that tension. Then let's come up onto our elbows. Bring those elbows underneath the shoulders. Hanging out in my beloved Sphinx pose. Rolling those shoulders away from the ears, extending long through the crown of the head. Nice little back bend here. It should feel pretty passive, just hanging out. Nothing working overly hard. And if you want a little more into it, create that little pull sensation we worked on earlier through the hands. So just that gentle pull. See how that lengthens through the crown of the head. Really trying to find that length. Then still pressing in towards the pelvis. So if you want to still play around a little more, if your feet are nice and wide, you can work on your King Cobra, which is a fun one. It's really just bending the knees and bringing the big toes to touch. So maybe that adds a little tension through the quads. Just simply bending the knees. If you've got really tight quads, maybe that's what you're feeling. Still extending long through the crown of the head. Just working with the spine, pressing into the hips here. If you want more from this, that's when you can start to press into those hands and lift the elbows. So that'll lift you up a little bit higher, accentuate that back bend. And if you want more still, then you can walk your hands in closer towards the body. But listen to that back. If you're feeling that edge where it transitions from discomfort to pain, make sure you ease off a little bit and make sure those shoulders aren't hunching up by the ears. That can destabilize lots through the back. Excellent. Exhale. Lower all the way down. Maybe you stack hands to plant your forehead, or you can look to your favorite side. Lower the feet back down. Feel that nice melting sensation in towards the mat. Take a nice big inhale and a nice full exhale. Beautiful little back bend. So nice. Excellent. All right, let's bring those hands under those shoulders. Tuck those toes under. Readjust the legs back in line with the body if you haven't done so already. Then let's push all the way up, pushing back through tabletop, right into a child's pose. Maybe try bringing the knees a little closer together. That'll help counter the twist, or the bend from that cobra. So the closer the knees are, the more you'll release that low back, simply because you're rounding through that low back area. You can drop that head down. You can reach the arms out if you want to stretch a little bit more through the arms, through the shoulders. So good. Connecting in with that breath. If you want, you can always come and adjust the knees nice and wide. And then sit back, feel that release through the hips. If you love that traditional child's pose, of course, take it. But usually your back's a little bit flatter, but you feel more through the hips. Excellent. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Start to press into those hands. Come on up. Pressing all the way out. I'm just going to come a little bit more forward on my mat, just to stay centered. So you're coming up. I brought my knees a little bit closer together. I want to work on my hero pose a little bit. So make sure you got your block handy if you have one. If not, that's fine. We can work with that as well. But I just think they're really helpful. So the first step in our hero pose is being able to sit back on our feet. And so if you're sitting here and you're like, oh my gosh, this is killing my ankles, that is where your block is really helpful. So if you can bring your block under your sits bones, and either that high, medium, or low, whatever you need. Now it takes weight off of those ankles, off of the knees, and maybe this is just simply where you work and you hang out and you settle and you start to feel that in your feet as we hold and move. If you are able to get down onto the sitting on your feet, you have the option to completely just hang out here as well. But if you want to start to add more of a quad stretch in, this is where I feel like we get a little wild and crazy. Mostly because I'm terrible at this pose, but some people are really good at it. So we'll just throw it in there, and however it works for you, it works for you. So sitting up, still nice and tall, engaging into that low back, so not that overarching. Nice flat back. And you just simply bring your hands by your feet. So maybe this is where you hang out. Roll those shoulders back and down, lift the heart. maybe this is where you hang out. Maybe you plant your hands all the way, or maybe you start to journey those hands farther back, farther back. Take a little moment and just press those hips forward, and then relax them back down. And coming down to the depth you want to. So if you are able to lay all the way down in this, kudos. My quads are just too tight for that. Working on it, but that's okay. And keep that chin nice and tucked. If you really want to let that head tip back, just do so mindfully. I'm not going to say you can't do anything, but just be mindful that if this is where you like to hang out, it's a nice throat opener. It really does do some benefits for that, but you have to be so careful coming out of that. Your neck and your head is super heavy. Think of it as like an 8 or 11 pound bowling ball, just down, dangling down. You've got to use all of those neck muscles to bring your head back up nice and safe. So if that's where you are, be mindful. I like to keep my chin a little bit tucked. And this is a great option also for the blocks. So if you don't need to be sitting on a block, and if you have one of them, it's a little bit less ideal, but you can bring the block on your hands to keep you up a little bit higher. And as you're starting to transition down, especially if you're transitioning down onto forearms, you can bring the block under your forearms. You might need 2 of them though. See, my left side doesn't even come down. All right, hanging up there, working on it, feeling that nice stretch. Take a nice big inhale. See if you can lengthen through that front body, maybe by pressing the hips forward, starting to engage through those glutes, giving them a nice little squeeze. Shoulders still trying to roll away from the ears, not really letting them hunch up. I know that's really natural in this pose. And exhale, if that head is tipped back, let's start to bring it up, tuck that chin in. Let's come out nice and safely, really slow. Just walk the hands a little bit closer in towards the feet. Use those core muscles to pull you up. Come back to that nice seated position. Excellent. And then you can walk those hands forward. Come back into that tabletop. Maybe you need to tap the feet on the ground. It's a great way to release the ankles. I don't know, it just feels magical. I don't know exactly how it does, but it does. Excellent. Let's spin on down, come down onto our mats. Rolling back and down. Planting the feet, knees nice and bent, low back tucking in. A nice big inhale to lengthen. Exhale to relax. Roll those shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Let's bring the hands just alongside the body. Bend to the knees, lifting the feet up off the ground. Knees can just hang out stacked over hips. Or you can start to extend both feet up towards the ceiling and coming into that waterfall. If you want, you can hold on to the backs of the legs for a more gentle version of it. Or just really extend. Find that length, flex through the toes, extend long through the feet. Get a nice little hamstring stretch, maybe even gently pull the legs in closer towards the body to accentuate through the hamstrings and through the glutes. If that comes easily to you, maybe you reach for the big toes and extend. In a reclined bear pose, this is what this is. I haven't done bear in a while. Maybe I'll throw it in tomorrow's class. No, tomorrow's yin yang on Saturday's class. Beautiful. Let's release. Hug those knees in towards the chest. Maybe roll into a tiny little ball, bringing the forehead towards the knees. Exhale, roll the spine back down. Really, the whole point of that is the roll back down. I feel like that feels so good. And now is the freestyle portion of our class. So if there's another pose or movement your body is craving before we settle into our Shavasana, you're more than welcome to take it. If you want that little happy baby, feel like we were so close to it with the toe bind, just grab onto the feet, hug the knees in towards the body, feet go up towards the ceiling. I love this to finish off in, especially for a nice hips class. Because this is a hip opener. As you're pulling the knees in towards the body, you can feel that openness through the hips. Playing around with whatever feels good for you. or just settling into that Shavasana, getting a couple of extra breaths. That nice restorative pose and posture. So if you're doing something on one side, make sure you balance it out, get it in on the other side. Take your time to enjoy the playfulness, to enjoy the creativity. And when you're ready, start to settle into your final pose. Maybe extend the legs long. Maybe those palms are facing upwards, creating that openness through the shoulders. Nice big inhale, fill the lungs, feel that ribcage expand. Breathe into the diaphragm. Exhale, soften through the belly, through the ribs. Exhale out through the top of the lungs. Coming into that 3-part breath where you start to notice the top of the lungs, then that rib cage, and then the belly. Big breath in as full as everything can possibly get, and then that exhale out through the belly, the rib cage, and then the top of the lungs. Taking one more of those big 3-part breaths, breathing in, filling everything up nice and slowly, feeling the different sections of the body that are affected by the breath. And that exhale, everything coming together. You can return to a normal rhythm of breath, or you can keep that 3-part breath going if you like. It is a great soothing breath. It is a little bit of a task for the mind. There's a nice anchor point as you're maybe starting to enjoy the stillness, or if you struggle with the stillness, those anchor points are really quite important and really beneficial. So that the mind isn't automatically jumping into the next thing. So just breathe it in and breathe it out. Beautiful. This is where I will leave you today. I thank you so much for joining me in a little Happy Hips class. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling great. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, whatever that might look like. I pray that the rest of your day is filled with moments of joy and that you are always blessed. Thank you and namaste. Feel free to take all the time you need to in your final Shavasana, extending it as long as you want. That's why I kind of just leave you in it, is for you to, if you need a full 10 or 15 minutes in it, take it. It's beautiful. If you just need it to be a quick little one, then it's there for you as well. So not an officially fully guided meditation, but options for you. Please take them. It's great. All right, officially goodbye. Have a beautiful day.